Was one of the most talked about deals at the deadline, the one that brought the Toronto Maple Leafs another former captain and another second generation player to a market full of them, one of the newest members of the Leafs. Live from quarantine, it's Nick Foligno. Nick, thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you. That was a nice intro.
Nice to hear the good things about you. Listen, before we get to all the aspects that you bring to this team, I know that you knew you were in for the quarantine. So what was the one or two things that you had to have while in quarantine? And I'm sure the experience in the bubble influenced this, but what were the must-haves once you realized you were going back into the so-called bubble?
Well, I think... thank God for technology, because the iPad is definitely a must-have. And I don't know, I'm not too picky. I need good food. So that's about it.
Good food and FaceTime the kids.
We're working towards that. I'm Italian, so it's good food's important.
Yeah, understood. I know with Pop's playing in the show, there was some moving around, but he spent 3 seasons in Toronto. What do you remember most about those times?
Well, I mean, obviously their run. I remember my dad was living downtown in an apartment. So as kids, we thought that was the coolest thing. We actually stayed in Buffalo one year.
Yeah.
And we'd come up and see him in the apartment that he was in, and thought that was just the neatest experience. And then I think the following year, we actually lived in Luke Richardson's house. I think He got traded away, and we moved into his place. So went to school and everything. So that was pretty unique. And I think just obviously what stands now is just, the passion of the fans and going on that run and being able to be a part of that and live it kind of through my dad was just unbelievable, and it's something I think stuck with me all these years. And what I'm most looking forward to going on a run here with Toronto and having that passion come back with the fans.
You know, it's funny, I'm a wee bit older than you, and I remember those times probably better than a 5 or 6-year-old was, but I was still surprised, like when you were dealt, how many fans just remembered back to those times. I even saw friend of the show, Dougie Gilmore, reach out on Twitter to welcome you to Toronto. Were you surprised at how much interaction you got based on your dad's time in Toronto?
Honestly, yeah, I was. I mean, I knew how much my dad cared about playing for the Leafs, and I think it's a testament, in even the short time, how many people remembered him. He scored a big goal in the playoffs, but I think they just remembered the passion, obviously the helmet, and the passion that he played with. So I think it speaks volumes about him as a player and as a person, that the impact that he had. So it did surprise me a little bit, the people that reached out, but it also was just an amazing feeling and how excited people are, and it got me excited. I said, it's amazing how you play 14 years in the league, and I just feel rejuvenated in a little way right now with just the excitement that I have to join this team, and I think that's going to really bode well for me and hopefully the hockey club.
All right, one more. I want to get to all that, but one more. Our social media accounts posted some old school viz. I know you mentioned the helmet. It had me reminiscing. I won't ask you if you have a Foligno leap in you, but any chance that you take a twirl with the old man's Northland bucket, say in a warm-up or something like that?
I don't know. I gotta go dig it out of I don't know where it is.
That's a collector's item now.
See. Well, let's just say we'll see. I'm not gonna close the door on that, but I gotta see if we still have one. I don't know if it'll turn to dust as soon as I put it on. I'm not sure.
I tried to get an old school Gretzky Jofa online, and they're like $700. I don't know what the Northland would go for these days, so it might be tough.
I don't know. I think people are still using that as a strainer in their kitchen now.
Yeah, with the pasta. Understood. I know you had some say here and had become a huge part of the community in Columbus. What made you want to add another chapter in the book and come to the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Well, I think, in honesty, I don't think I wanted it to happen. I think it just happened organically, in that, our team unfortunately just didn't do well this year. And when presented with the opportunity to continue to play in the playoffs, I think that's anyone's dream. And especially, if you played 14 years in the league, you realize how hard it is to get to. Yeah. And I really wanted that opportunity. I think with my contract lining up the way it did, and the organization in Columbus allowing me to even have that conversation with them, I really appreciated it. And then the fact that there was teams interested, and one of them being Toronto, I was thrilled with. And so I think just how it kind of came about and how thrilled I am now to join such a great team and try and help this group. And I think it's made it easier on me knowing it's kind of a win-win for the organization in Columbus and, for myself, and a chance that I get to join a really good team who believes in me and is excited about having me join them. And as much as I'm excited about joining this group and just trying to bring whatever I can to help this team win. And that's all I'm focused on. And it's just, it's really exciting for me, and I can't wait to get around the guys, obviously.
Listen, I got 2 little ones at home, and I saw the pic on Twitter of you and your 3 packing up the car and sending Dad off. A great reminder in these times how it's not just a hockey deal. Like, there are families, there are friends that are involved. How tough was it to say goodbye?
Yeah, it is. And, that's probably the hardest part for me of this whole situation, how thrilled I am, but not to have my family, when I come home after a game or after a practice and be there in the room. It's they're everything to me. I think anyone you talk to, there's no secret how that's all I care about besides hockey. So, but knowing that, they're safe and well in Columbus, and my wife is an incredible woman and can handle 3 kids. I'm sure she'll be freaking out in a week or so. But just knowing that they're set up there and they're able to continue their lives while I go chase my dream, and having that conversation with them, I think it just puts everything into perspective of this is an opportunity that I don't want to waste. I'm taking time away from my family and joining a great team, and a team is taking a chance on me and believes in me. So all those things together made it kind of an easier decision to go and do this. And it's a sacrifice. And let's be honest, it's a sacrifice, but there's so many more people in the current state of the world that are making way more sacrifices than I am. So when you put that into perspective, I get to go play hockey. And, it's a short time that I'm away from my family, and, I thank God for that opportunity. And, but I think about all the people that have been affected more by this pandemic than me. And, if I get a chance to go play hockey because of it, then, we'll make do. And I know my family's cheering me on from afar.
Well said. Well said. Nick Foligno of the Toronto Maple Leafs joining us here on Tim and Friends. We've seen others get moved on deadlines, and they try really hard, maybe even too much, to fill the role they think that they're supposed to fill. Now, we counted up on this Leafs team 12 buds that have worn a letter in the NHL, either C's or A's. Does that make the transition a little easier for you?
I think so. It's funny. Maybe it's because I'm just a little bit older now, and I'm coming in there just to help any way I can. And I believe in myself, obviously, and what I can bring. But at the end of the day, I'm also excited to learn from some of these guys. I got a chance to be around Joe Thornton, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Morgan Riley, John Tavares. Jason Spezza, who I had the privilege of playing with in Ottawa. So you start getting to be around these guys that have been in the league a little while or have had success that they're having, and I'm just going to soak it all in. It excites me in that regard, too, of what I can bring, but also what I can learn. Because I think I'd be naive to think that I'm just going to come in here and on this team and how great they are and just try to, impact with whatever I can. I got to listen. I got to learn and try to fit in wherever I can to help this group. That's all I'm trying to do. I think that's the most important thing. It's not I'm coming in here to save the day. This team doesn't need saving. This team needs just some help in certain aspects that I hope to provide. And, I'm so thrilled to get that opportunity to help this team, which in turn will help me become a better player, become a better person, and have hopefully an opportunity to win a Stanley Cup.
Awesome. Some veterans that you've battled against are in that room. You saw a lot of these guys in the bubble last year. Is there a guy or two that you're glad you don't have to battle with or are really excited to kind of play with because you know what they can do?
Well, I think you just look at all their offensive weapons, and it's always you have to be on point when you're on the ice against them. So that'll be nice to be on the other side of it where I can hopefully reap the benefits of being out there with them. But, a guy like Wayne Simmons, him and I have had some really good battles. Columbus and Philly, for a lot of years, we didn't have a real good liking to each other. So I remember I don't think we've ever fought, but I just remember always going at him physically, and he's such an intimidating and imposing player. So it'll be nice to be out on the ice with him and be able to go do that to other guys. And, and even a guy like Joe Thornton, I'm just so excited to be around him. He's been in the game so long and has accomplished so much. And I'd love nothing more than to be able to go on a run and get him the cup. He's somebody I admire and the way he's played and being able to impact the game. So It's amazing how many guys in that room that there's a storyline behind it of a lot of guys chasing that trophy, and if we can come together and do it for one another, it could be an unbelievable story.
All right, let's talk about that story. I got two quick ones for you here. I know you've heard it a couple of times since the deal, but a couple of years ago, back in the heat of battle, you talked about how they didn't defend well enough below the hash marks, this Leafs team. Have you noticed enough of a change in the way they defend below the hash marks that you feel like this could be a real extended run here?
I said that?
I read
trouble.
I read the headline.
Man, you can't hide from anything.
No.
You guys dig up everything. Oh, man.
I might have got 2020 or 2021 and just read the headline, but I saw the headline.
Yeah, no, I see a difference in the team. I've obviously haven't watched them. I've watched them of late, obviously, but just, in playing them last year and knowing that we had to be at our absolute best in Columbus in order to beat them. And that was just defensive-minded, be who we were, wait for our opportunities to capitalize. And, it allowed us to have success against a really good team and frustrate them a little bit. And, I think they took a lot of that and learned from it. Even their other exits, and you could hear them talking. I just feel like they're a team that's ripe for changing the narrative, changing the story, and I want to help and be a part of that. And I think you can just see the difference in some of the way that some of the plays that they're making, how they're focusing on that aspect. And I think I've learned in my time how important that is to being successful in hockey, and especially in the playoffs. And so I see that. I saw the Tampa Bay Lightning and what they did in order to change after we swept them, and how they brought in a more of a defensive-minded, grinding style team that could complement, their offensive weapons. So I'm excited to be part of that and to help where I can. And you can just see their mindsets already understanding of that, because everyone said, the levels go up, and playoffs is a whole nother level of grit and determination. And you have to have that and a mix of that. And I think with the weapons that they have already offensively and the people they've brought in to complement that, we can be a real dangerous team if we can put it all together.
Got it. Also, the producer whispered in my ear that we have the clip. I'll save you from the clip. We will not play the clip. We'll just move on to the...
Thanks a lot, producer.
I know it's not just your family, but a community that you're leaving behind in Columbus, and you've done a ton of work. It was evident in a tweet from the Nationwide Children's Hospital. But you also have the family charity that was started to honor your daughter, who had to undergo 2 open heart surgeries. We got some generous folks watching this. Before we let you go, tell us a bit about the Hearts Playbook.
I appreciate you bringing it up. Obviously, that to me is what it's all about at the end of the day. And we're so fortunate to be in a position to hopefully inspire and help other people. And, going through something so scary like our daughter, having a heart disease when she was born. She was born with a congenital heart defect. Realizing how many people you have to lean on, and, the people that gave us a chance to be a family. We knew right away after we got through it that we'd want to do something. So we decided to start our own foundation. It's called the Hearts Playbook, and it's really just devoted to helping, and continuing to raise awareness. And, 1 in 4 children are born with congenital heart defects. A lot of people don't know that. And we just feel like there's so much more that can be learned, and through research, there's so much out there. Our own story was a lot of word of mouth to find the right doctor that could save our daughter's life. So just trying to be that inspiration and use our platform for good. So I really appreciate you bringing that up. It's something we're very proud of. It's new. We're kind of jumping into this with 2 feet, but it's something we care a lot about, and want to make sure that we're giving back the way that people have given us a chance to have a family. So I appreciate you asking.
Awesome. At this time, we're kind of realizing how important perspective is, and oftentimes it's also expensive. Perspective can be expensive, and it doesn't always have to be if you get it at the right spot. Heartsplaybook.com if you want to help out Nick and his family. Would expect nothing less than salt of the earth from somebody with Sudbury in their blood. Thank you very much for doing this, Nick. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Hopefully make Sudbury proud here now. Thanks a lot.